All right, let's talk altcoins. I think a lot of you guys know, if you're familiar with the crypto world, that altcoins can definitely make you a much bigger profit than Bitcoin, because Bitcoin already has such a huge market cap. And a lot of you guys have been asking, what are my top 5 altcoin picks that are going to outpace Bitcoin over the course of the next year as this bull run heats up? In this video, we're going to be talking about exactly those, and some of these are hidden gems you probably haven't heard of before. Okay, now before we get into number 1, let me just preface that I am definitely a Bitcoin heavy holder. Bitcoin is the biggest portion of my portfolio in crypto and in all of my investments. I do think that Bitcoin is the safest hold. I do think it's the one that's going to outpace everything in the very long run, and I do think it's the one that you can just buy and forget about because it's not going anywhere. It's only going to go up. I do believe it'll be $1 million within 5 to 10 years. And it's not one of those ones where, you know, with altcoins, you're hoping that the altcoin you choose 10x's, but there is a chance that it just becomes irrelevant and just disappears and is outpaced or replaced by a different altcoin. So just saying, when it comes to altcoins, I personally just allocate a small portion of my total crypto portfolio into them, which works out to roughly around 10% of my whole portfolio. Okay, shut up. Time to just get into these top 5 altcoin picks. Now, with all of these, you should do your own research, but number 1, and the most obvious one that you've heard of before, so stick around for the more secretive ones, is ADA or Cardano. A lot of people know about this, and Cardano's kind of like, you know, claim to fame is that it's the ETH killer. It's going to replace Ethereum. If you don't know already, Ethereum tends to have some trouble with transaction speed as well as transaction fees being really, really high, because the network has gotten quite congested as tons and tons of dApps are using Ethereum's smart chain. So with ADA, there are going to be 45 billion made in total max supply. Currently, there's 31 billion that have been minted. So there is going to be more coming, but it is good that it does have a hard cap. That's one thing that I really like about token projects when I invest into them, is that there is a cap so that it's not just incredibly inflationary over time. The person who created ADA is Charles Hoskinson. He's the co-founder of the proof of work blockchain Ethereum. And we do know that Ethereum is going to move to proof of stake, but it hasn't yet. Hoskinson understood the implications of the challenges to blockchain networks, and he began developing Cardano in around 2015, I believe, and he launched the platform and ADA in 2017. Again, kind of as an ETH killer because it's proof of stake instead of proof of work. Most people know about ADA. It is a massively loved coin. There's a huge fan base for ADA. And I do think, in my opinion, when it comes to certain coins and when it comes to certain investments, AMC and GME being a weird example, when you have enough fan base behind a project, it's not guaranteed that it won't fail, but when things dip, when things go down to a point where usually it wouldn't come back up, those fanboys will buy that dip like crazy. And ADA is one of those, projects that has a huge fan base. In my opinion, ADA is going to definitely do many multiples of its price over the next few years. Okay, now moving on to number 2, another project that you probably have heard about a few times. So stick around for the last 2 projects because those are the ones I guarantee you've never heard of. But PancakeSwap, or Cake token. PancakeSwap, if you don't know about it, it's a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange, so it's a DEX. It's built on the Binance Smart Chain. It's powered by the BEP20 Pancake token, Cake. And the Cake token is one of several tokens used within the PancakeSwap protocol. Basically, PancakeSwap is similar to Uniswap or SushiSwap. PancakeSwap, it is an automated market maker, and it's a decentralized application platform, and it features liquidity pools where users can earn fees from staking, lending, and yield farming. So basically, for most people that are using Cake, they don't use it for the farming and all that stuff. They basically just use this to trade tokens that haven't made it to major crypto exchanges. Very similar to Uniswap, where a project or a token will be only exchanged on Uni or Cake or SushiSwap until it gets enough development in the project and also enough people wanting and demanding the token that a bigger exchange like Bittrex or Binance or Coinbase will take that coin and start trading it on their platform. Another really cool thing about Cake, though, that some people maybe don't know, is that you can stake your Cake tokens to provide liquidity to PancakeSwap. So basically, this will earn you LP tokens, which are liquidity pool tokens, and they're called flip tokens, which then can be staked to earn more Cake. So it kind of works for you to make just interest on holding cake. So people who already are bullish on cake are even more bullish and are locking up their cake tokens to basically just earn this yield. This is a huge thing in crypto. You probably already know this, but this just basically makes it so that the supply that's out there is locked up, which makes the supply less, which makes even smaller amounts of demand push the price even further up. I do think that cake has a huge future. It's already developed a huge support. It's definitely already got the network momentum where enough people are using it that I don't think that it's just going to disappear. I just think that it's going to get bigger and bigger. I think more and more people are going to use it, and the network effect really, in my opinion, is real, where if something's been around for a certain amount of years, it's likely that that thing is going to continue being around for the same amount of years and probably longer. And cake, in my opinion, is going to be around for a really long time. I do think that cake's price will be going up massively over time. I think it's a good project to invest in. Okay, now next up is Binance Coin, BNB token. This is one that I think a lot of people are pretty skeptical on. I think a lot of people hate BNB. I talked about this in my Discord, which, by the way, if you aren't in the Discord, I'll put a link in the description below. You can chat with us about crypto and stocks and investments, all sorts of stuff. But when I talked about BNB being one of my choices in there, a lot of people were saying BNB sucks. It's centralized. It's terrible. It's going to be replaced by many other things. And mostly the complaints were that it's centralized. Now, my pushback on that is exactly this. Okay, first off, BNB has a max supply of 200 million tokens, but there's been 15 burns, and over those 15 burns now, there is a max supply of 169 million BNB or so. There's around 150 million circulating, so there's only that difference of about 16 million more that will be minted over time. If you aren't familiar with BNB, it's used to pay for transaction fees on Binance.com, which is the biggest exchange in the entire world. Also Binance Dex and the Binance Smart Chain, which is a really, really big thing. Some people think that Binance Smart Chain, BSC, is going to be the ETH killer because a lot of apps, a lot of dApps are using it because it has cheaper transaction fees. But in my opinion, it is centralized, right? And that's one of the big features of Ethereum and other, smart chains and stuff like Cardano, is that they're decentralized. So you accept the fact that there's going to be higher transaction fees, and sometimes the network will be congested by the fact that nothing can shut it down. But that doesn't mean that this is not a good project. One of my big arguments for why BNB is a good investment is that CZ, the CEO, the owner of Binance, has a massive ego, a huge ego, which can be a really good thing, because if you're investing in BNB token, his token, in my opinion, there's no way that CZ is going to allow BNB to not move up in price. He's not going to let it sit there for 5-10 years just going sideways or down, because people are going to get mad at him. They're going to get pissed at him. And, in this world of fame and followers, CZ has a huge voice, and I don't think he's going to want all that sour taste where people are hating on him in every tweet and every single time he talks about anything. And really, honestly, if BNB just fails as a project, people are going to move away from not only BNB, but also Binance. And in my opinion, that's not going to happen. Like I said, he's been doing these massive burns. The last burn was over 1 million tokens, which was the largest USD value burn that they've ever done. And he's going to continue doing these burns to force the price to go up, because then more and more people say, damn, BNB is dope, Binance is dope, CZ is God, and he knows the way, the truth, and the light. We should follow him into profit. And I think personally, BNB is going to do just fine over the next few years. Okay, now let's get into my juicy last two picks. These are the ones that are much higher risk in my opinion, but they also have a much higher potential to do a huge order of magnitude of multiplying. Those first three that I mentioned already have pretty large market caps. These next two do not. And again, that makes them more risky, but they also have a higher potential of going up. Okay, so number 4 is the Greek tokens. So this is actually a collection of a few different tokens. These are Rho, Beta, Gamma, and Kappa tokens. Now, this is a really interesting project. These are Greek tokens that correspond with values on a LED display that's going to be on a rocket called Doge 1 that is going to be placed into low Earth orbit in June of 2022. This is Elon Musk's SpaceX rocket called Doge 1. Okay, so when you look into the project a little bit more, a lot of people don't really know about this, but you can go to the different websites. For example, the Rho one is rhoprotocol.io. And so when we go there on the site, it says Rho tokens correspond to the y-axis location value of the LED pixels. present on the exposed surfaces and live streamed from a satellite to be placed in low Earth orbit in June of 2022. These pixels, hue for kappa, luminosity for gamma, x-axis for beta, and y-axis for rho, locations are acquired in exchange for the aforementioned tokens. These projects are all going to work together to basically allow people to advertise on this rocket. All right, so this project, or these sets of projects, are really exciting because you guys have seen this. Elon has serious meme power, and like he did this with Doge, a coin that people thought would never go to the highs that it's gone, and he pumped it because people get hyped about what Elon talks about. So I think with Elon pumping this, because it's going to be on his rocket, these coins correspond to an LED display that's on the side of the freaking rocket. People are going to get excited. People are going to want to buy this token so that they can put whatever crypto. Probably they're going to spam a bunch of, altcoin projects, crapcoin projects on there. But even more importantly, I think as people find out about this, because not a lot of people know about this, and as these coins come to bigger exchanges, because right now you can only get them through a couple things, I think like Uniswap and a few different, dexes. I think when it hits some major exchanges, the price of these are going to go hugely up. Not even for people wanting to advertise on it. Honestly, it's just going to be people being like, oh, these are the coins that are needed for that rocket. Elon, rocket, Elon going to the moon, rocket, coins going to the moon. I think people are just going to buy into the hype. And that happens in June 2022, so there is plenty of time to front run this. In my opinion, I think this is great. Chico Crypto was the one who actually put me onto this. He did a huge deep dive of this, due diligence of this, and it's pretty crazy. You should check out the video because it definitely goes deep into why this is important, and I definitely buy into it. I think it's important. Okay, fifth and my final coin that I'm picking is UNIBRIGHT. Now, UNIBRIGHT has a max supply of 150 million. All of those are currently circulating. So what UNIBRIGHT is it's attempting to take the enterprise blockchain adoption to the next level, basically by connecting corporations and enterprises with Ethereum and other blockchains, where a lot of these companies can't hire their own blockchain developer. So this is kind of bridging that gap for them. By using their platform, the day-to-day activities of basically all corporations can really easily integrate into a blockchain infrastructure without the need for writing any code. And I think that's huge because a lot of companies are going to want to integrate into crypto and all of the networks that come with crypto, but they don't really know how to do it. We actually have some news recently that a lot of companies are already onboarding with UNIBRIGHT, and that's happening in the next month and couple of months. This is also only available on Bittrex, Uniswap, and QuickSwap. So in my opinion, anything that has a promising future that is currently only traded on the dexes and smaller exchanges, I think has a huge potential because some of the catalysts of the price moving up are when they are adopted onto the bigger platforms. Maybe that's Coinbase one day, maybe, but even, Binance and BitMEX and all these other ones, as it happens to, jump onto those platforms, I do think the price jumps with each platform that adopts it. This is another one of those tokens that I do think has the potential to do a multiple X gain from here. Who knows? That could be 5, that could be 10X, but I do think that as long as Bitcoin doesn't go into a bear market, this will not keep going down and down and down. I do think that this is going to make huge all-time highs over the next 6 to 9 months as Bitcoin starts to resume its uptrend. Again, this is one that I learned about from Chico Crypto. He's really one of the guys that I follow that has really good deep dives into these altcoin projects that I don't spend as much time looking into, which I'll admit. So it's always good to have a couple different channels that you watch for different reasons. Hopefully you watch my channel for basically all investing, but especially for Bitcoin and crypto. But you can find other guys like him who cover altcoins a little bit better. So there you go. All right, so there you have it. Your potential moon rocket coins that can take you from, wherever you are to 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 10x gains. Again, I do think that risk management is important. Have a, plan of how much of your total net worth you want to put into these riskier altcoins, and then have that plan of maybe a larger percentage going into safer crypto, like Bitcoin or Ethereum. And then of course, probably also have a portion of your portfolio into other investments like stocks or other things, real estate or anything else like that. So make sure that you have a plan. You don't just YOLO into everything just because it could go up 5x. I'd love to know what altcoins you guys are looking at. What are your moon coins that you think are going to do extremely well over the next year? Let me know in the comments below. Also, I want to know if you guys like this kind of alternative video because I don't do a lot of altcoin talk. So if you want me to talk about altcoins more often, let me know in the comments below. If you want a part 2 to this where I give you another 5 altcoins that I think are really going to do well, I do have quite a few other picks that I'm personally staring at and also looking to buy the dip into. So let me know. And if you're not subscribed already, make sure that you're subscribed. Give the video a thumbs up, helps get out to way more people. And I'll see you sexy people in the next video. Peace out.